All right. So Helmuth is talking to his friend Rudy, and he um, wants to. He's getting kind of like worn down by the Hitler situation, and he's starting to rethink whether that's actually a good thing because his stepfather guy is just over the top with it. So he's talking to his friend Rudy, and he says he wants to open a detective agency because it just sounds like fun, right? Because he wants to solve some of the unsolved crimes that have been in the newspaper, and it's their duty to report suspicious activity. Do you mean spy on our neighbors? Rudy's eyes narrow with disgust. The Nazis have enough informers. No, real crimes. Robberies and murders. We can't do that. We're not old enough. The police will laugh at us. They won't laugh, says Helmuth. Not when they see that we can think like adults. He taps his head with his forefingers. And we have an advantage. We're young, so criminals won't suspect us. We'll get more information that way. It's impossible, says Rudy. You're talking about the Gestapo. He shudders. I'd rather steer clear of them. A lot of people disappear after the Gestapo visit. I'm not afraid of the Gestapo, says Helmuth. He straightens his shoulders and juts out his chin. When they crack our first case, we'll be famous. Maybe they'll even offer us a reward or a job. Come on, it can't hurt to try. Helmuth watches Rudy's face. Everything Rudy thinks shows on his face. Before Rudy says so, Helmuth can see his face shift into agreement. Sure, says Rudy. Okay, why not? We'll be detectives. The discomfort between the two friends has fallen away. Helmuth crooks his arm around Rudy's neck. This will be fun. The next day, Helmuth hands Rudy a small card. The card reads, Lord Lister Detective Agency. Rudy holds the card by its edges and whistles under his breath. You made these yourself? They look real. They are real, says Helmuth. Rudy reads further. Helmuth Gadot, Agent Number 1. Rudy Wobb, Agent Number 2. He grins, tucks his card into his wallet. Come on, says Helmuth. Let's go down to the police station and see what crimes they have for us. Helmuth and Rudy head north toward the local police station at Hammer Deek 57. An odd, watchful silence hangs over the foreboding brick building. They stand outside and watch as four SS men exit the front doors, green files tucked under their arms, striding toward Grevenwig. Two other men, wearing coats and hats of Gestapo agents, stride past without even a glance at the boys. Helmuth thought about wearing his Hitler Youth uniform, but settled upon wearing good brown trousers and a white shirt. The trousers and shirt make him look more grown up. He walks crisply to the heavy wooden door and pulls it open. Maybe this isn't such a good idea, says Rudy, firmly rooted on the sidewalk. He is also dressed in his best dark trousers and a white shirt. Come on, urges Helmuth. You don't have to say a word. I'll do the talking. What are you going to say? I don't know. I'll figure it out inside. Rudy traipses behind Helmuth. The foyer feels cool and dark as they walk down the hall, reading the gold-lettered names and titles on the doors. Helmuth stops outside a detective's office and reads the name, Inspector Becker. It seems as good as any other name. Helmuth turns the doorknob. A blonde secretary sits at a gleaming wooden desk. Helmuth introduces himself, asks to speak with Inspector Becker. She hesitates, but Helmuth tells her that he and Rudy wish to do their duty as citizens. She leaves her desk, raps on the door behind her, and disappears inside. When she returns, she ushers the boys into a wood-paneled office that smells of cigarette smoke. A balding man with strands of dark hair, combed carefully across his head, sits behind another wooden desk, polished to a sheen that reflects the glow of the lamp. With his white shirt and red bow tie, Inspector Becker looks more like a banker than the inspector. He sets a green folder flat on the desk bladder, motions to a pair of dark leather chairs. The boys sit, and Becker leans back. He thrums the tip of his fingers together, smiles thinly, and says, So you boys are here to do your duty as citizens. Herr Becker has a broad, blunt face, and Helmuth notes that his eyes don't match his smile. Yes, sir, he says. The smile fades. Do you have information for me? Perhaps you know someone who is breaking the law? A neighbor or relative or teacher, perhaps? Something you've overheard? Some suspicious activity? No, sir, nothing like that. My partner and I, Helmuth nods at Rudy, want to help the police solve crimes. Becker's expression changes, grows less present. I'm a busy man with no time to waste with childish games. He picks up a folder, taps it against the desk, sticks it on top of a short stack of files. This isn't a game, sir, says Helmuth. We think like adults, even better than adults. And because he starts to say children, catches himself, starts over, says, because we're young, adults let their guard down. They're less cautious about what they say. That works to our advantage. Becker's chair squeaks as he sits back, eyes Helmuth, then Rudy carefully. I consider myself a good judge of people, he says at last. You're smart, curious, not afraid to take initiative. I'll bet you can put 2 and 2 together. Helmuth leans forward. We can. Inspector Becker tugs open the desk drawer, fingers through several files, takes out a slim folder, spreads it open on his desk. He thumbs through newspaper clippings, pulls one out. Here's an open case. A streetwalker was murdered in Rothenburg Short. Helmuth looks wide-eyed at Rudy, at the luck of it all, then back at the inspector. We know that neighborhood, Helmuth thumbs at Rudy. That's where my partner lives. The inspector nods. See what you can find out. Let me know. He pours himself a cup of coffee, offers one to Helmuth and Rudy. Helmuth shakes his head and says, no thanks. Mormons don't drink coffee, though Helmuth likes its deep, rich smell. Inwardly, he feels pleased that Becker asked. It's a sign that the inspector takes him seriously. Over the next several days, Helmuth and Rudy prowl the Rothenburg streets, engaging the local shopkeepers and customers in conversation about the night of the stabbing. Helmuth keeps careful notes. He jots down each detail, no matter how small or insignificant. Afterward, he and Rudy put the details together, shaping a story, tracing the streetwalkers last night. At a small dark pub along the Ausschlager Allee, they make a significant discovery. In the smoky room filled with customers who wears the cloth capes of working men, a barmaid whispers a name, Franz Seaman. She had seen him talking to the streetwalker just a few nights before the murder. Helmuth senses Rudy's excitement, and he elbows a gentle warning to remain composed. Helmuth nods and thanks the barmaid, then nudges Rudy outside. I know that man, said Rudy excitedly. He's an unemployed dock worker. He's always looking for handouts and a free drink. Do you think we have a suspect? I don't know. We only have a name, but at least we have information for Inspector Becker, something for him to go on. The boys hurry to the Hammer-Deek station and report their findings. Unemployed, you say, says Inspector Becker, looking pleased. At a time when Hitler has jobs for everyone? Sounds like a suspicious character, possibly an anarchist. There are these people who want to undermine this great country, all mentally unstable, if you ask me, in need of a rehabilitation. Helmuth's inside tightened at hearing this. He realizes something that frightens him. Inspector Becker seems to have already found Franz Seaman guilty. But Inspector Becker shakes their hands and assures them that they did the right thing. He will send 2 agents to pick up Franz Seaman and bring him in for questioning. 2 days later, Helmuth and Rudy stop by the police station, and Inspector Becker tells them that Seaman is in prison where he belongs. Becker pumps their hands again, congratulates them for helping to solve the case, promises to keep them in mind if he has other cases for them to solve. Helmuth pushed down the uneasy feeling. Surely he hasn't accused an innocent man. Surely Inspector Becker would not allow that to happen. But still, the unease is there, that nagging feeling. Do you think he's right to have that nagging feeling?
Yes.
The next time Helmuth sees Rudy, Rudy's left arm is bandaged from wrist to elbow. What happened? Helmuth asks. An accident, says Rudy, and he tells Helmuth how he had been playing chase with other boys from his street and how he fell through a window, shattering the glass and severing an artery in his wrist. Rudy was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery. Helmuth whistles in stunned sympathy. That wasn't the worst part, says Rudy. I had 2 visitors from the Gestapo. The Gestapo? What did they want? To investigate me. The nurses went through my wallet and found the Lord Lister card. They reported me as a potential enemy agent. Helmuth snorts. You, an enemy agent? Rudy snaps at Helmuth. It's not funny. They wanted to know who Lord Lister was. Wanted to know why I worked for a British detective agency. Did you tell them it was a game? A made-up game? Of course, but the one agent slapped me hard. He said it was no game to them. He warned me that they take subversive activity very seriously. The second agent wanted to know if it was a cover-up for a secret underground movement. Helmuth's insides twist. He does not want to be in trouble with the Gestapo. Rudy looks ready to cry. They fired question after question at me. They took my words, twisted them, and used them against me. They wanted to know what adults were involved. This is unfair, says Helmuth. A Gestapo badge is not a license to abuse innocent people. Rudy quiets him. I told them to ask Inspector Becker that he would know who I am. The men wrote his name down and then said they'd check out my story. And for my sake, I'd better not be lying. I'll never forget the look in their eyes, like they enjoyed scaring me. And then they said, we'll find out the truth. We always do. They took my wallet and my Lord Lister card with them. This is insane, said Helmuth. We wanted to help the police, and now they've turned on us? Rudy nods. They were trying to trip me up, trying to get me to say something that wasn't true, trying to get me to give information about somebody else, something, anything at all. They wrote it all down. Let them take notes, said Helmuth. All the notes they want. What do we care? We don't know anything that can hurt anyone. I don't ever want to go through anything like that again. You won't, says Helmuth. Inspector Becker will straighten them out. That's the last you'll see of the Gestapo. I hope so, says Rudy. I felt so scared, so guilty, even though I'd done nothing wrong. Helmuth wishes there was something more he could say, something he could do to help Rudy. But at this moment, he feels helpless.